Kia ora, everyone. I'm Ella, or Ella Ferguson5 on TikTok.
Hey everyone, I'm Cedric, better known as Let's Talk Sports on TikTok.
We're here to talk all things round 4 of Super Rugby Pacific. The first game coming up is the Crusaders versus the Hurricanes. Cedric, what are you thinking is going to happen?
Okay, so currently the Hurricanes are sitting in first. The Crusaders, no one could have imagined this. They're currently 11th. Yeah, it's pretty sad to be a Crusaders fan, but I think one thing I noticed for the third time in 3 weeks, the Crusaders have named a new number 10. So they've gone off Riley Hallhepper. He doesn't have much experience. He's got 21 caps for counties and 2 caps for the Canes. So yeah, this is his first game for the Crusaders going up against his old team. And I think it's pretty interesting. So they had Revez Rehana, but then I think he got hurt. And then Saha Kimara, he may have gotten hurt too, or they're just seeing what they can do with Riley in this game. So I thought that was interesting. Also, Cam Roigard and Ruben Love, they've been killing it for the Canes right now. Yeah, Cam's currently my MVP frontrunner, and I said a while ago, I think he's going to be the best player in the world at one stage. And yeah, in terms of packs, the Crusaders pack did look a little flat last week, so it'll be interesting to see how they go against a better pack this week. And my player to watch has to be Cam Roigard, and I have the Canes by 7. So how do you feel about this matchup?
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said, we couldn't have predicted that the Crusaders would be 0 from 3 for the first time since the beginning of Super Rugby in 1996. I was 1 year old. Were you even born?
I was born in 2000. So
yeah, see, you weren't even alive the last time the Crusaders were in this position, which is crazy. I think that we cannot ignore the fact that they are a championship team. Yes, there's been a lot of change of personnel, but they have that in their DNA. It's not like they're one-off winners. They are 7 times winners just in the Scott Robertson reign. You're forgetting even earlier than that. So I think they are going to come out this weekend. They're in unprecedented territory and they don't want it to get worse. They're playing at home, which is a big factor. And so I really think I'm rating the Canes so hard. I would love to see them get up, but I just think the Crusaders are going to pull it out of the bag. I think, like you said, you've already discussed Ruben Love, and he's been a critical player for the Hurricanes, but I think his matchup against Shea Fihaki, who's playing at fullback for the Crusaders, is going to be really interesting to watch. We've already talked this season a bit as well about how much of a battle there might be for the 15 jersey in the All Blacks, particularly with Will Jordan out. So I'm really excited to see that. Scott Barrett also out for the Crusaders, which is pretty tricky for them. Just another one sitting, adding to the injury toll, which is upsetting. But I'm thinking they're going to pull it out of the bag. I've got the Crusaders by 3, and I feel like that is the edgy take. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I liked what you said.
I had them up last week, but it was tough week.
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough week for everyone on the bets, on the tipping. I was interested in what you said about the number 10s and how this is the 3rd week in a row that they've got a new number 10. Obviously, Richie Mo'unga is such a huge loss for them, and he really blossomed from the point when he was kind of given the reins in the Crusaders. And the same things happened in the All Blacks when he was finally trusted with the keys to the car, so to speak. He performed so much better. Do you think that you'd like to see the Crusaders back someone and back them for an extended period of time?
Yeah, definitely. I think if there was someone, I would go with Taha personally, only due to him being younger, so he has a lot more time to develop. I think he's only 20, maybe even 21. Revez Rehana is quite young too. And I think Riley, he might be pushing 30, and there's not anything bad, but I think the way the Crusaders will want to go to is just developing someone young. And if they can get Taha, just one of the two, just in a spot where they've been given the reins, I think, they'll be fine. But it's just hard for me to see them win right now. You see.
Maybe it's hard for me to. I think I just really cannot fathom them losing 4 in a row. Like that is just, my brain can't compute it, and maybe that's why I just am like, nah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. It's the Crusaders. It's the Crusaders, man. Okay, so I'm going Crusaders, you're going Hurricanes. We'll revisit this next week. This is probably going to be the game of the round, let's be honest.
Oh, I got my game of the round. Yeah.
I feel like it's not the Rebels versus the Reds, but should we talk about that one anyway?
Yeah, we can.
You go. Tell us what you're thinking.
Okay, so the Rebels are currently 4th, and the Reds are 3rd. Not gonna lie, it's weird seeing 2 Australian teams in the top 4.
The Rebels being in 4th is kind of wild. Like for a team that's in the position they're in.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, the backs have been very impressive from the Reds. Filippo Dalgunu, I think that's how you say his name. Andrew Callaway and Carter Gordon did start off a bit slow. In that game against the Brumbies, I was like, it looks like Noah could potentially take a spot. And even Donaldson from the Force has been playing really well. But yeah, the Reds pack has been very impressive. Harry Wilson, as usual, has been very good. But my favorite player in this game to watch is probably Josh Fluke. He's the number 13 for the Reds. He's got the headgear. So, and my thing is like any backs that have headgears, total gunny. So yeah, I think Fluke is definitely gonna be the player to watch. And my prediction is Reds by 10. I think they've been playing well. Both teams have, but I think the Reds will have a little more to get them over the edge. So what do you think about this game?
I think, we've been talking a lot about physicality, and I think the Reds are the surprise team in terms of physicality this season. Their pack, you've identified it already, is just looking so good. They are firing on all cylinders. Like offset piece last week, their scrum, awesome, but even better, their maul. Like that's near on unstoppable. And so I'm sure they're going to deploy a lot more of that. Tom Liner was a standout for me at number 10 for the Reds last week. He's not playing. I wonder how much of it is connected to that late shot by Samipeni Finau. So they've got
was it?
So they've got Harry McLaughlin-Phillips in at number 10, and like you've already said, I think his matchup against Carter Gordon is going to be one to watch. Carter Gordon, I didn't realize how much of a specimen he is. He is quite big for a 10, and you saw it when he just got that intercept try. Yeah, so I'm excited and glad. I've been kind of on the train of concern for Carter Gordon after the Rugby World Cup, but I'm glad to see him playing rugby and enjoying himself again, because I think that's really important. I have gone with the Reds also. I've gone Reds by 8. My rationale is that last week the biggest score deficit we saw was 10 points, which was the Crusaders and the Endure. So I don't want to get carried away. We're not seeing large score lines, so 8 points feels relatively reasonable for me.
Yeah, I think also something to note is that the Australian teams have all these really young 10s. So for Schmidt, it's going to be interesting to see who he goes with. But right now, I think Noah would be my pick if we were to choose an Australian team tomorrow. But Carter and Donaldson have been playing really well. So.
Yeah, and Noah Lolesio obviously is a bit more experienced. He's played overseas as well, not only just at test level, but in other competitions. So I think, and maybe something that was a learning from the World Cup for the Australians, is even if he's not your starter, having someone with experience who can be there to mentor a younger 10 is only going to be a good thing. And that was where Carter Gordon was shortchanged. He didn't have a Quade to kind of help him out and be like, oh, bro, don't worry about it. We can work on this. He was kind of on his own. So yeah, the battle of the 10s has been a bit of a discussion across this whole tournament so far, and it's certainly shaping up to be hotly contested. What about the Force taking on Moana Pacifica? Last week, I feel like Moana Pacifica were disappointing. How do you think they're going to approach this week?
They easily could have won that game last week. It was disappointing. So right now, Moana are in 9th, and the Force are currently sitting last. I feel like for the Force, Ben Donaldson and Chase Tiatia has been amazing for this team. And even when he was back here with the Chiefs, I think that's who he played for. Yeah, he was the man, and he's been playing really well for this team. But like I said, Moana easily could have won last week. And I feel like they're just not like an 80-minute team yet. And that was shown through week 2 when they had that big lead against the Draw.
Huge.
And the Draw were this close to stealing it. So, I'm not quite convinced of Moana if they are an 80-minute team. But from that team, Jacob Norris has been very impressive for me. Just defensively, he's been making a lot of tackles and putting his body on the line. But my player to watch is their number 8, Lotu Inisi. Very similar to Hoskins Tutu, very powerful, strong, plays like an outside back. And for my prediction, I think the Force will stay winless. So I have Moana winning by 3. By 3. Like I said, I'm not convinced they can like finish off game strong. That's why I have it play safe. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I have Moana Pacifica by 2. What are the chances? So yeah, I think the Force showed a lot of promise last week against the Rebels, but I also feel the same that they're potentially going to stay winless. I think you see the return of Nigel R. Wong for Moana Pacifica this week, and Christian Liliafano is coming into the start 15, and I think that's quite important. I was listening to an interview somewhere, it might have been with James Lay, the captain of Moana Pacifica, around how with this group they're trying to develop that idea of professionalism in the team and really get people to understand what it's like to be a full-time athlete and, you know, looking after yourself, going through the week with your game in mind and being at the best you can be. And I think having someone like Christian Liliafano, who's obviously so experienced, he's a test level player, back in the team can only be positive for something like that. And I think his influence is going to be really important. And I'm just hoping that just this disappointment that they experienced last week, they can bring into the game and hopefully notch up another win.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have to move to the next game, which is my guys, the Highlanders, and they are taking on the Brumbies under the roof at Forsyth Bar. I mean, I'm obviously backing the Highlanders, but what are you thinking, Cedric?
Okay, so this was my game of the round. This was I didn't even want to talk about the Highlanders.
That is so I cannot believe it. Why would you not want to talk about the Highlanders?
Okay, so the Highlanders are sitting in... No, and I'm not planning to anytime soon. The Highlanders are sitting in 6th right now, and the Brumbies are in 7th. So, no Reece Petrel. I think Petrel has been one of the best 10s in the comp this year. Cameron Miller gets the start. Is he injured? Or...
Nah, he's not injured. Obviously, I saw an interview with is it Clark Dermody, who's the coach of the Highlanders, and he was saying that it's mainly load management because obviously Reece Petrel's quite a bit older. So apparently Miller's been preparing for like 2 weeks for this game. Like he always knew he was going to start it.
Okay, yeah, no, but Reece and Folau, their combination, man, they've been fun to watch. And I told you before, but it seems like Reece has been playing here like for a while. Like, just the way he plays, you wouldn't think he's from Wales, but yeah, he's been very impressive. But for the Landers, Fakatava and Jacob Ratumai to rookie Needkins, man, ever since he came to the Highlanders, he's definitely put an impression on everyone and definitely on me. And I also feel the same about Tanielu Tuleta, also from the Blues. I think they weren't just given like enough chances with the Blues, and with the Highlanders opening their arms to them, you can see what it's done for their game, and they played really well. And for the Brumbies, like I said, Noah Lolosio and Corey too. I think he might just be the fastest player in the comp. He has been scary, and you can definitely tell he had a background in sevens.
I should get his Bronco really time. We need his Bronco time ASAP. Bronco watch.
Yeah, they've been really fun to watch. And yeah, like you said, Noah, he had a little stint of Toulon overseas. I think he had 4 games with them, and it definitely kind of showed here. He's had a big improvement since coming back to the Brumbies. And my player to watch, AJ Faleafaga off the bench for the Highlanders. Been backing this guy ever since he came out of St. Peter's. I've been talking to him for ages, so it's just really cool to see him under the lights. And for my prediction, I have the Landers by 7. So,
coming correct. Yeah. I love that. I think the Brumbies have maybe been the letdown so far of the season. Like they were kind of backed as the top Aussie team. They've obviously got a successful history in the competition. They've just not really been there. I feel like maybe the second half last week was a bit more of a vintage Brumbies performance, but the fact it took 40 minutes to get there, they'll be really frustrated with. I think I also saw that Hugh Renton, the number 8 for the Highlanders, legend, Amako, is ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks as well. So I think alongside, obviously, Patrol's just load management. Jonah Nariki's not playing this week either. And then Hugh Renton. Yeah, I feel like those are some big gaps. So I'm hoping the bench are coming prepared, or the bench, the new players in the starting lineup, and that they're ready for this challenge and they're not taking the Brumbies lightly despite their performances. They've also, I think the Brumbies have come out and said they love playing under the roof at Forsyth Bar. And so I'm sure they'll be very excited for some dry conditions. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's so great having an indoor a covered stadium, right? Like we know we're going to get a good game regardless of playing rugby. So obviously I am picking and I am hoping and I am backing the Highlanders, and I'm saying they're going to do it by 5 points. So I'm a little bit less confident than you are.
Yeah.
So that is the Highlanders for the week. A great wrap. Then we have the Chiefs are returning to FMG Stadium. They're taking on the Ndrua. I think if this game was being played in Fiji, I would be backing the Ndrua. What are you thinking?
I think so too. So the Chiefs are currently second. They're 2-1, and the Ndrua are 10th. 1-2 having beaten the Crusaders last weekend. I think anyone that goes to Fiji will struggle, and it just seems like they know how to win at home. So, yeah, the Ndrua, when it comes to playing at home, it's a tough matchup. Leonard Brown didn't start last week, eh?
No, he didn't. So he's back in the 15.
But he's starting. Yeah, he's back in the 15 this week, and I think defensively that'll help them a lot. I think after last week, seeing that DMAC couldn't really close out the game, I think this is kind of his chance to step up and be like, okay, now it's time for me to show that I am the best 10 in New Zealand, being that Moanga and Barrett aren't here. But yeah, it definitely needs to step up. There are a few players in that Chiefs team who I think are playing really well. Sean Stevenson, Cortez Ratima, Itene Nanai Saturo, and Tupou Vai. They've all been really good for the Chiefs so far. And I feel like the Ndrua going into this, they're going to have a lot of confidence. Beating the Crusaders again at home, yeah, they're going to be on top of the world. But I hope they didn't get too complacent, because I know they'll have a really good game, and then the next week it'll just drop off.
Consistency.
The standard of rugby won't be there. The Draw pack have impressed me, and their rookie first five, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. I think it's Richie Mo'onga's nephew.
He is. Yeah. I've seen Richie posting him.
Yeah, he's been playing really well. It seems like he's been here for a while. But man, my favorite, I think their winger Celestino Ravutal Wanda, I think that's how you say it.
That is, yeah.
He's the best outside back in the game. No teams have been able to contain him. He's been throwing off everyone. Anyone that tries to tackle him, he'll break a tackle. He scored a try in every game this season, and I think it went to show when he played in the World Cup last year. That warm-up game against England, I was like, okay, I think he's here to play. He had a really good World Cup, and I think he's come back in to the Super Rugby season with the same form. My player to watch is Isaiah Armstrong. He impressed me last week against the Crusaders, but I think the Chiefs will bounce back, and I have them by 10. What are you thinking, Ella?
Well, yeah, I agree with you about Ravatamanda. He scores tries that you should not be able to score. It doesn't make sense. It blows my brain. The other player I also wanted to shout out quickly for the Chiefs that is kind of flown under the radar for me for a long time, but has been awesome, I think, in the first couple of games, is Manaki Selby Rickett. He has been so good, and obviously the locking stocks are pretty good at the Chiefs, but I think he's been really impressive. He did a great clearing kick the other day, and chip and chase, and then he's charging things down. I think he's been a name that you hear a lot. He's really busy on the field. The commentators are always saying his name. So I'm looking forward. I think he's starting this week. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes, because he's been someone I've really enjoyed watching. The Chiefs will be really hurting, I think. It was a real ego blow losing that game last week. They're obviously the favourites to win, and nothing hurts like a bruised ego. So I really think that they're going to come out looking to right a lot of wrongs in front of their home crowd. The key matchup for me, I think, is in the number 8. So the two captains, Luke Jacobson versus Mali Didenalangi. I think that's going to be a really good upfront battle, and they're both great performers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and I've said that the Chiefs will win by 10 points.
Oh, same.
Look at that. So if the problem is with this is that if the Ndrua win, neither of us win. That's not good with the Chiefs. So we should have split it there. Yeah. All right. And so then the last game of the round, it's your team. The Blues are taking
the best team. It's not just my team.
After
it's
last
the best team
week,
in the
you
comp.
still want to say that? My God. On paper, maybe. On paper.
It's the best team. We're the best team.
Okay. Talk your shit. Let's go.
The Blues are currently sitting 5th. One higher than the Highlanders, I'll just say that. And the The Waratahs are sitting in 8th. But they're both on the same number of games. They're both 2-1. Yeah, but both teams really need to win, having lost last week. Yeah, it was just tough. Like the Blues, we were so cocky going into it. There was like no Jordy Barrett, and like you said, on paper, we're probably the strongest team. So I was kind of like, yeah, we'll win 7+. And then after that performance from the Canes last week, now I'm a bit like, oh, I don't know how the Blues, like how consistent they'll be, because yeah, I think that's what we're missing. I think Jake Gordon and Tane Edward, I think that's how you say his name. They've been really good, and I remember you saying Jake, he's been really impressive, and he has. And I didn't know he was that fast against the Crusaders.
He is so fast.
The amount of runaways and stuff he was getting, yeah. Really impressive. I'm really looking at Hoskins Sotutu to really carry this pack. He's definitely showing why he was an All Black. And yeah, a lot of people have been messaging me saying like, Hoskins has been playing well. Do you think he'll be an All Black? And I was like, he definitely can be. We've seen him in that jersey before. And yeah, he's definitely putting his hand up. But other than Zahn Sullivan, I feel like the backs for the Blues have been like a bit flat. Like Rico and Mark, we got all these the top talent, but it kind of seems like they're just playing just to play kind of thing. They're not worrying about like what's coming next. But I feel like Zahn, yeah, he's been really fun to watch. And my player to watch for this match is Mark Nwanga-Nitawaze, because he's been named at fullback since Max Jorgensen is out. So it'll be pretty interesting to see him at the back. I do prefer him on the wing, but I don't think they'll have much cover. That's why Mark is at the back. And my prediction, you'll never see me go against the Blues by 5. But they need to be very impressive to win there. But I have them by 5.
They've got to prove something to you. They've got to earn your loyoty.
Yeah,
on Saturday. Yeah,
definitely. 100%. Yeah.
You won't be bought easy.
So how are you feeling?
I think that point you raised about the Blues being a little bit cocky is really interesting. And I think having watched some of Scott Robertson's interviews post that sort of All Blacks camp at the start of the year, and he was talking about how the message he gave to those players was, you need to go and be an All Black in your Super Rugby team and demonstrate what it means to be an All Black and the standard that we're demanding. And I think that you're probably right, that they're just there to play ball until international season rolls around. And that's maybe because of whatever negative things about the competition in terms of people being like, well, no one's watching, yada yada. But this season I think people are watching, and eyes are on these, top tier World Breakthrough Player of the Year. He won that, Mark Talia. So I want to see them driving that standard as much as they do in All Blacks camp at their super franchises. And so Hoskins Sotutu's kind of doing more of that than the current All Blacks. So yeah, I agree. I think the Blues need to kind of switch on. I feel like Vern Cotter, their coach, is a guy who really demands that of them. So I'm sure that we're getting a speaking to, but I'm yet to see the fruits of that reward, fruits of that labor, sorry. So yeah, I think the Blues, like the Chiefs, will be wanting to right a lot of wrongs that happened last week. We've got Offa back in the starting lineup, which will be really good for their scrum, set piece. I also had look out for captain Jake Gordon, who I think has been in fine form this season, and that matchup against someone like Finlay Christie is going to be really, really interesting. There'll be a lot of niggle going on, I reckon, around the scrum and around the breakdown. So that's something to look forward to. I've also backed the Blues. I've said by 4 points.
In there.
And if they don't pull that off, then I have some serious questions. Questions.
We're going to win. So yeah.
That's a hot take. So that concludes our predictions for Super Rugby. Do you have any final lingering thoughts, feelings, concerns that came out of the most recent week and looking towards round 4?
Yeah, just going off of what I said. I think we definitely need to see the Blues and Chiefs step up. And if the Crusaders don't win this game, I think did like the alarm bell start to go off? Do we start to get concerned? Because 0-4 for a Crusaders team is unheard of. So yeah, that's how I kind of feel going in.
Yeah, and it will be 0-4 and then facing the Blues in round 5 at Eden Park. So that's going to be something that they don't want to deal with. And then at that point, I think, 0 from 4, I don't think you can blame that on kind of preseason rustiness or like, the team hasn't had time to
Yeah.
gel. That's starting to really knock people's confidence. If you're a young player, that's pretty hard to deal with mentally. So I think you're right. They'll be pretty desperate. I think the Reds, are really carrying the Aussie teams at the moment. Can you see any other Aussie teams challenging for playoff spots or maybe semi-final spots?
I want to say the Brumbies, but like you said, they've been kind of underwhelming. But it's really just the Reds for me right now. Like you said, their pack have been very good. The outside backs for me have been very good. Josh Fluke has been amazing. Well, yeah, hopefully more into the season, the Brumbies can kind of show why they've been the Aussie team to watch and not kind of be underwhelming. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. We'll be coming back reporting a Highlanders victory. We might be reporting a Blues victory. Who knows? Cedric, any final farewells?
Yeah, just the Blues are the best team in the comp. We're just taking it easy right now. If the Highlanders win, good for them. But yeah, go to Blues. Go to Blues.